Carl and Damon here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it is tier list time. Hey, we enjoyed the first one so much, we thought we'd do a second. It's another 30 achievements, ranked by us, based on 4 categories. Hard as hell. That is an achievement we decide is hard as hell. An achievement that we think's a lot of fun. Not necessarily hard, or it can be, but you still had a ton of fun doing it. Likewise, in a similar vein, but less about fun, more about satisfaction. So maybe it was a grindy thing, maybe it was a difficult achievement, but not to the point of hair pulling, and you were just like, oh god, that was good to do. And boring. That's it, the last one. It's simply this, it's a bad achievement, it's not clever, it's not interesting. The Assassin's Creed flags is a good example of that. Any collectibles, to be fair, can often kind of fall into that category. I think actually probably there's an argument to say most collectibles do. Rarely can you call them satisfying, fun. Well, I mean, certainly not hard. At best you can say sometimes some collectibles are satisfying. But like think of like, although I don't have on my list this time, but think of something like Leisure Suite Larry and the collectibles and that. Or a recent one I did where it was like, one of these kid games where I was a girl on a horse riding around in a crappy, badly made game, and it's like, oh, you got to find 20 unicorn statues, which blended into the background, and there was no map, there was no collectible like counter, and it was a horrid. So to get them all, and obviously as I played through the game, I was picking up the occasional one. By the end, I'm missing like 12. I'm like, well, where the fuck are they? Oh, great, I've got to watch a video now of someone else doing it, and obviously you follow that video, and it's like, you've already got the one. But that's a totally different round. Okay, so 15 each. Just like before, we've chosen 15 each. Random, with the only caveat being this: one of us has to have earned them. So either you would have earned yours, I would have earned mine, or even in some cases I might have looked at an achievement and gone, I don't have that because it's too hard, I wasn't very good at it, but you do have it. That could happen. I don't think it's happened yet, but it might do in the future, because we will keep coming back to this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you can get us started then with your first one.
So it's Left 4 Dead. The achievement is Untouchables. And it is no survivor takes any damage after you contact the rescue vehicle.
So obviously when you contact the rescue vehicle, the shit hits the fan.
Yes, exactly. So this one here is going straight in bloody hard. Without that top of it, I said this was one of the, I said I only won this achievement, and I know a lot of people only won this achievement because the game was so badly broken that there's so many glitches.
Oh, so you're able to take advantage of an exploit?
Yes.
What exploit did you take advantage of?
So, like for example, in the first level, there's a thing called the Jesus Room, which is basically a room that never existed, and the zombies can break open the door. You can hide in the room until the vehicle comes, and then you throw a pipe bomb, you run, you're safe. But even then, it was still difficult because as you leave, there's parts.
They're all there, yeah.
But no, it's extremely difficult. I mean, I did this by myself with 4 computers, but obviously you can do it online with 4 people. But I found it easier doing it by myself with the computers. But yeah, that was one of the hardest achievements I've ever earned.
Yeah, I know of it. In fact, I know there's a fair few in Left 4 Dead that kind of fall underneath that category. I don't have this. I certainly don't have this. I have maybe about half in the original Left 4 Dead, but certainly never put the time in. You were saying this one goes on hard as hell, yeah?
Yeah, damn
yeah.
Right.
It's a starting point then. Okay, my first one. You know what I hate more than anything in games? Any kind of game. RNG. Simple as this. Anything that relies on you having to roll some dice and hope it appears, hope something spawns, hope the game gives you what it requires, anything like that. I don't mind it when it comes to gameplay, for example, if it's procedurally generated levels and things like that. I don't mind that idea, but when it's gameplay related stuff where everything is randomized and it's like, hey, and it can be fun to begin with, fine. But when you then put achievements and goals in it related directly to a random roll of the dice, we have a problem. I am, of course, talking about the game Rad. And this is the achievement Nerd unlocked 100% of the Tome of the Ancients. Now, I could have put, if you know the game, I really considered putting in the Raider tasks. Because one of them, I spent more time trying to randomly appear, randomly generate a random task by a Raider, more than any other achievement. Even the Tome of the Ancients, by that point I had it done. And you know why I had it done? Because it has a glitch, which means you don't need a full 100%. You only need about 93.
Lovely.
And it'll automatically complete. The problem why it's a very difficult thing is basically to fill it up you need to get all the different mutations, you need to get all the collectibles, you need to do all these different things to fill in this book. But everything in that game is random. Every mutation you get is randomized. This item is randomized. The tasks are randomized. Everything is randomized. So obviously at first the book's filling. But when you get to a certain point and you need one or two,
you're
and there's a lot of them,
you're relying on a lot of luck.
that you are relying on a lot of things. And the issue is, for example, later levels, the last set has shopkeepers who items again are randomized. And they have specific things that you need, but you have to play for a large portion of the game to get to them, over and over and over and over. I really liked Rad. I liked the humour. I love Double Fine. The company was Double Fine. I think they've done some great games in the past, but they took the piss with this. It's not that it's hard. It's not that. It's not hard because it's an easy game to play and it's an easy thing to understand. It's not fun.
No.
It's because it's randomised.
Yep.
Satisfying? I mean, I was super satisfied, but I didn't feel good about it. I was just like, ugh.
That's the problem. It sounds like that would be
Boring.
great when it popped, but yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. I was annoyed. I was more annoyed about the raider tasks more than anything else, because all I just kept thinking was, you take the piss, guys, you take the piss. Now, boring, because simply it's too randomised.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So the next one is F1 2010, and the achievement is Nifty 50, and you got to reach level 50 online. I'm a big fan of F1. I was so excited. It's the first F1 game I played, and it was the last one I played, because of the achievement. Absolutely ridiculous, reaching level 50 online. Now, me, who's a big fan of F1, there I am trying to be the nice little driver, the Lewis Hamiltons, and idiots just straight through, off the road. He had no chance. In the end, it took me and someone else just basically about 150 billion races of he goes first, I come second, we swap. Over and over again for about 50 hours. You had to get 100 million points or something, I think it is, something ridiculous. And because of that, I will never play another F1 again. And this goes on bloody boring because it's a ridiculous achievement.
Of course it does. I mean, of course ridiculous. Anything like that, I think anytime they put those achievements in any multiplayer game, it's ridiculous. I certainly don't have it, but I share your frustration. I have also played Formula 1 games online, and I will always remember that the last online race I ever did, it was a straight line. I think it was... might have been Abu Dhabi. Straight line down, and half that grid played it like bumper cars. Played it like bumper cars. By the time I recovered and get back on the track, people are just trying to slam into you. It was horrible.
I spent most of my time just not braking, let them all crash, and then I'll try
just
and catch
easily
up.
do it. Boring. Yeah. Although, boring's not quite the word to describe. Frustrating.
It'd be crap.
We should probably change boring to frustrating, actually. You know, I'm going to add it in now. I'm going to quickly type it in. Boring/frustrating. Boring plus crap. There it is. Okay, what are we up to now? My next one. Right. Okay, High on Life. Quite a modern game, folks. Of course, this is the comedy sci-fi game from the creators of Rick and Morty. From that team and so on, utilising the voices and lots of humour and references to that kind of thing. Extremely adult, very colourful and cartoony first person, but extremely adult. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed the game. It is flawed. It has a lot of flaws of it. It really, really does. Thankfully, some of those flaws have now been patched, which is great, but ignoring glitched flaws, as a game overall, it's just a little flawed. But it's not a difficult complete or anything like that. But I do admire and I do appreciate there were some dumb achievements in it. There were dumb achievements, including like one that I hated because it forced you to play through it twice if you didn't look at the achievements beforehand. And I hate that because I never like to look at achievements before I play a game first time. I just want to get through it and see what afterwards. But basically, there are fun stuff in it. And I did this one by accident. It is carried Stan's load to completion. And in brackets, complete the game with Stan's product in your inventory. Who is Stan? He is a random alien character meat. What's his product he gives you? It's a jar of alien cum that you basically just keep on you to the end of the game. That's it. That's it. That's the shit that made me laugh. I know it's childish, but that's Rick and Morty for you. And I just laughed, and I didn't even think about it. He gave it to me, and I just was like, I've presumed I'd be using it at some point in the game. You never do. It's a completely useless item. So for me, I'm putting it in. A lot of fun. It's silly as fuck.
It sounds funny.
It's silly as fuck,
So my next one is Sid Meier's Civilization 6. And the achievement is the Pizza Party. And This one's a long one. You have to activate Leonardo da Vinci in New York with a sewer and the art from Michelangelo and Donatello. This achievement...
It's just a jokey reference to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, of course.
It is, but this achievement is... It's sort of like your first one in like the boring and crap one. This one you have to rely on so much.
Yep.
And I love it. I love these games. I love this game. It's my sort of game.
Yep.
But my God, this achievement! I had to restart it about 50 times because sometimes Leonardo would activate, sometimes he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get Leonardo and Michelangelo, but we get Donatello. So I was constantly restarting, and just luck. I finally got them all. And the problem was that you can't just restart and find out you got to play it for at least an hour
right.
to get to that point to know if you've got the characters.
Because is there not a possibility of being able? No, because if you, I'm about to say just save and reload, but then I guess it wouldn't.
No, it doesn't
It'd
work.
be the same gameplay. Yeah.
I mean, it took me about 50 tries, and I much as I love this game, that was one of my last achievements I won in this game. Other than
yeah,
the
actually,
DLC.
I don't know this. I've not played Civilization 6, but after you told me, this gave me the heads up on what this was, so I could get the image. I looked at a sort of walkthrough guide for it. I got bored reading it.
Yeah, it literally it's paragraphs and paragraphs. But for me, this goes in boring and crap, which is disappointing because I love the game.
Oh, if it's only one bad achievement out of a fairly big game, it's not too bad. Okay, sticking with modern stuff, it's Shadow Man Remastered, but specifically a DLC, the horror DLC that they added later to the Shadow Man game. And this is, it's called The Horror, I Embrace It, and it is enter the horror again through the hardest of trials. So there's a video actually on this YouTube channel where I go into detail about what the horror difficulty is. So I'll give you a quick rundown of it here. Shadow Man, you know it.
Yep.
Love the game. It's one of my all-time favourite games. And I've had I was really happy to see this remastered version appear with achievements. But not only that, it was the stuff they did. It was the improvements they made. It was the stuff they added back in that had been originally cut.
Yeah.
It was an incredible example. It is the best version of Shadow Man to play. Shadow Man Remastered. Damon, it's got achievements in it.
Yep, indeed.
Absolutely. Much of my shock when they were like, okay, we're also now adding DLC. Wait, what? DLC. Now, it is minor stuff. They've added some more stuff into it and added a new boss and a new level area that had been cut from the original game.
Yep.
But what they really wanted to do was add a brand new difficulty called the horror. And it was described as like, man, if you think, like it is going to be difficult.
Difficult, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it is. Because you know what? I completely understand all the things about how we're going to make enemies much tougher. We're going to add, but like a lot of, it wasn't just they're harder to kill. It was like they're stronger, they're faster, their bullets ricochet, all these different things to the point where I had to change how I played Shadow Man. I had to approach it from a different, oh my God, the areas with the sisters were some of the parts where I not only died too much, what I ended up having to do, like so the areas where there might be 3 or 4 sisters flying around was open the door, shoot, duck back in, quick save, because basically Shadow Man Remastered is a quick save.
Yeah.
Just where you just hit the button and quick load, so it happens really quickly. Quick save. And then do it again. Quick save. Do it again. And it is extremely frustrating. It really, really is. But that's not the only thing. They went, okay, what we're going to do is going to add more traps. We're going to change the speed of them. Like, it was a lot of stuff they fucking did.
Yeah.
They fucking did. Some of the bosses, oh my. It varies on difficulty. Some people say they had a nightmare with Jack. I had no problem with Jack. I think I had a bigger problem with... who did I have a massive problem with? No, Victor Petrachin was alright. The Lizard King. I think it was the dancing guy. I can't remember his name. The sort of disco guy. Him, yeah, he was him. I had a nightmare with him. Absolutely. Because that was it. I didn't realise... No, I can't remember why I kept dying, but there was a problem with him that I kept dying on. But either way, my point is, my God, did they make it difficult. They really, really did. It is very satisfying to complete it. It really is. There is an extra, it's not an achievement, but there's an extra thing where if you can complete the horror without dying once, then you can unlock something else. I didn't even consider it. Now, there is an achievement to complete Shadow Man, the main game, on an easier difficulty without dying.
Yeah.
But that's not hard because of the quick save. So anytime you're doing anything a little difficult, quick save. Certain stuff like that. And as long as you load that up, it doesn't count. So it's actually quite easy. But I didn't even consider doing the horror to see what that look was. It's not an achievement. So for me, hard as hell. It is satisfying, but my God,
Yeah,
I think it generally is hard as hell.
Sounds like so. I'm playing the remastered version myself actually, but I've not played that one yet.
I still love that game so much. Yeah, go on.
So I've got the mobile game Fallout Shelter, obviously now on Xbox. So the achievement is Blast from the Past, and it is collect 20 legendary dwellers. So
Did you pay any money to do this?
I paid a lot of money to do this. This is why this one goes in crap, boring as hell's crap, because it's ridiculous. Any game that forces you, and it's forced you because you cannot legitimately get these guys without doing it. So you're forced.
You can, but it would take you in a very long time.
Yeah, well, I ain't got that patience. So literally, I must have spent 20 to £30 buying these little $3.99. You get 20 packs, and out of 20 packs, you might get one if you're lucky. It took me ages. You know,
do you think that's actually not too bad money? Do you think that's fair, considering you enjoyed the game? Do you think it's a fair price? Like, if you'd been charged it up front, do you think that would have been worth it? Or
because then you would have been paying like 60 quid for a mobile game. You know, I enjoyed the game. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. But obviously, it's the sort of game that you can pay for a couple of hours and then that's it. You're bored of it.
Okay.
You know, so, but I mean, because of that achievement, well, I've actually got 2 for this one. Because of that achievement, it goes into boring as crap.
Right.
Crap.
Okay. There we go then. All right. Oddworld, new and tasty. This is the achievement, new and hasty. Rescue Avery Dockin with an overall best time of 3 hours or less. I thought it was impossible when I first saw it. I was like, wait a minute, you want me to complete the game in under 3 hours, which already I thought was hard as fuck, but every Medockin. So having to go to all the side areas and elements like that and so on. This is one of those where it's just about becoming good. But also what New and Tasty does is it segments the game. So it segments each area and sets your time for that. So what you can go back to is each specific area, and then it takes all those times and gives you a total time. And same with the Medockin. So you don't have to start the game again. You just go, okay, I didn't this area here. Like, check online, people are saying the average is 8 minutes, but I did it in 12.
Yeah, so you need to prove that.
So I go back and I knock 2 minutes off that. By the end, after me doing that, I think I completed it I had about 2 hours, not 59 minutes, just by knocking off a couple of 30 seconds here and there and stuff like that. So it's actually more than doable. But it is bloody satisfying. It is very satisfying, and that's where that one goes.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you got Fallout Shelter again, right?
Yep, so we're back in the Fallout Shelter again. And this is another one which is going to boring and crap. So it's Get Off My Lawn. And it is successfully stop 50 radar attacks.
Yes.
Now, it's very easy. The attacks are easy. No problem at all. But it is the RNG.
Yeah.
So basically, I logged on every hour, and if you're lucky, you might get one. If you're lucky, you might be sitting there for 3 or 4 hours, you'll have none. You might get attacked by ghouls and all different kinds of ones, and then you might get radar attack. This took me 60, 70 hours to do. I'll be turning it on for an hour, leaving it running, and hope I get attacked. Ridiculous.
We're going to put it where you want it, right?
Yep.
And that's totally fine. But I do think there's a little flaw in your thinking here. And the flaw is this. This game is designed for this specifically. It is designed.
Yep.
All free-to-play games will be designed of time sinks. Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is on Xbox One and Nintendo Switch and all that, is one of these examples.
Yep.
All the achievements are related to things that will take you hours upon hours and upon hours. I love Disney Dreamlight Valley because they release new content, I go back on and I spend time in it. I think the mistake, I'm not saying it's a mistake, but I think the mistake, I'm going to use the term mistake, unfortunately, you and others make is that you go, I want to complete this game, so I'm going to drive myself nuts and sink all this time. And instead of thinking, over the next 6 months, I will do it over time.
I've got no problem with if a game is still fun to play, or if a game still has something to do. So I'll give you an example, State of Decay.
Yeah.
Standing there for 150 hours, that is not fun.
Yeah, but then the argument, I know, and I 100% agree with you, I do. But the argument other people would say it was, don't do it then.
No, of course.
Do you see what I mean? That's the problem.
Of course, but obviously I'm doing it because I want to complete the game.
There you go. That's it. So there you go. Then that's it.
I mean, it is boring.
I don't have either of those. I have put time into Fallout Shelter. I've enjoyed Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, so I have.
But neither of these two I have. I couldn't be bothered, basically. I'm never going to go back to it. So that's me done with that game, basically. What we up to? Okay, this one's an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure where to put this one, but I'm going to Beacon Pines. Beacon Pines is a little indie game, anthropomorphic animals, very visual novel almost to a degree, rather than a game, so to speak. It is one of my modern favourite games, and the reason being, it did what I love games do. A lot of games, modern games do for me, which is, I think I'm playing something, and then you go, boom. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah. So, like, I often cite Little Inferno as a great example of that, where I'm just going, oh, this is fun, I'm burning. Wait, what do you mean she wants to be burning? What? What do you mean she's... What? What does she mean that she wants to burn in a fire? Wait, wait, she's blowing up her... What, do you know what I mean? Like that? Yeah. What's happening? And other games like that, Beacon Pines did that to me. I loved it. I was like, this is cute, this is fun. I like visual novels. I can play this. I can record the footage and play this. Yep. Wait, what? Bodies? There's a dead body? Wait, what? Okay. Wait, there's a sinister mystery? Wait, what's this about a source? What the fuck is going on in this game? It is insane. And I have chosen an achievement that reflects that insanity. It is The Big Chill. Witnessed the big freeze for the first time. Now I'm going to have to delve into spoilers here, I'm afraid, to describe this. So this is the very first, one of the very first endings I think I got. There's a lot of endings to Beacon Pines. It's part of the whole setup. And this was the reveal of the source. This thing that is basically grown, exists underneath the town. And I mean, later on, there's another leg of this story that I think is more depressing when you see what happened to the original town. But here you meet your grandmother as she's planning. They've had enough of you letting this thing control them. She wants to blow it up. And the music that plays in this is so fucking emotional. And Thingy falls down. I can't remember his name. He dies in this scene. And they blow it up. But what it did is you can't destroy it. It freezes the town and kills everyone. And I was like, what's going on? Insane. So for me, that therefore reflects a moment in Beacon Pines where I was just like, what the hell is this game?
Yeah, from a kid's game to like...
I mean... I wouldn't necessarily call it a kid's game.
Well, yeah.
I don't want people to get confused because it's colourful and all that, but there's a kid would be bored. I don't think it's got those aspects.
No.
But where do I put this? Satisfying because it was the realisation of like there's something bigger here. Yeah.
So my next one is my time at Portia.
Yeah,
and
Portia,
and the achievement is my time at Portia.
Yeah, Portia.
We've going for that all the time. And the achievement is to finish the main storyline. For years and years and years, I was after a game which could satisfy me as much as Harvest Moon.
Yep.
And this game came as close as any game could.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only disappointment which we have shared is that you can complete the game so quickly.
Yeah.
But it's a massive farmland, growing animals, building buildings, doing missions,
married,
kids, everything. It's that sort of game now, and it's my type of game, and I love this game.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's a very satisfying game.
So you think you're using this achievement as a reflection of your overall enjoyment of the game?
Yeah. It's a very satisfying game.
So I'm going to push back a little because I've not had a chance to push back yet. Yep. This is the first one. When we talk about the achievement, complete the main storyline, I think it's a poor achievement, and this is why. Because although I really enjoy my time at Portia, one of the parts I do not like is the sci-fi adventure storyline that goes along with it. Yep. I found it to be an incredibly frustrating distraction from a lot of what I wanted to do at times. And I don't like when I think of that game, I don't think of the story. I think of the other aspects. So like that's it for me. But if you want to use it as a sort of an example of like the overall enjoyment, where do we put it?
I said.
Was it the last achievement you got in the game?
It was finished. No, because it would have been. Because obviously,
that's what I mean. Because it wasn't my last achievement.
It was because I watched through the story, and then obviously you can still go back.
Yeah. So satisfying?
Yeah, I mean...
it's your achievement, not mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to satisfying, but obviously, after what you're saying, I agree, the storyline is not the main thing. Because, so I enjoyed more just taking my time of building things and doing quests and cutting down trees and stuff like that. But obviously, that's the achievement I chose there, so...
Satisfying then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Distraint. So I'm gonna talk again from a similar perspective of Beacon Pines. Distraint is a indie horror game with these sort of 2D pixelated graphics that can actually be completed probably in about 45 to an hour long minutes. when I finished that game, I put the controller down and I just had to stop and take. It reminded me of Thomas Was Alone. I was stunned by what this game did to me. It is so weird, and it's a horror game, so it's got horror elements, but it's also very weird. It's very avant-garde. Can I spoil it for you to explain this?
Yeah.
So it is the end. Complete the game. So I've gone for that basic achievement, but the reason being is because that means you've got to see the full story. So basically, you play a character, a guy who works for a bank who's tasked with repossessing homes. So he goes to see an old lady who's struggling to pay her bills, and basically he has to tell her she has to get out, and so on. And it's a pretty, obviously, horrendous position to be in and stuff like that. And he tries to be sympathetic, but hey, the bank is the bank and stuff like that. And early on you realise that he's not very happy in his life and things like that. Doing this to this old lady who lost her husband recently as well, and she just needs a little bit more time and that kind of thing, seems to break his mind. And throughout the rest of the game, you're going to experience his sins almost to a degree. What's happened to him to get him to this point, and so on. And it's avant-garde horror, where it's done in a sort of obscure way to represent his life and the things he's done.
Sounds proper deep.
It is.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by it. But to see it end the way it does, spoilers, to see it end with him putting a shotgun in his mouth.
So I feel you as
the screen goes black and you hear a gunshot. I was stunned. I was like, they did not just do that. Now, I also have to caveat that by saying they then made Brrraaains 2. And I was like, okay. And I figured they'd basically do a similar thing, but with a different character. Much am I surprised to see him back. But immediately you start off in like a dream world. And basically what you then do with Brrraaains 2 is a similar style of thing. You basically live his life. Like, basically, I saw it as his life flashing before his eyes before he died. Because you experience his childhood, his love of his life and losing her, his eventual descent into depression because of the work, and his parents dying and things like that. All the things that made him the person he is today, and you go through all of them. But I think they realised as well, and because basically you've got to kind of play Brrraaains 1 and 2 together, I think they realised that they needed to tell a story. And basically, alongside Brrraaains 2, you realise it shows you what happened to lead up to him shooting himself.
Yep.
He ended up in the exact same position that he left the old lady in. His home was going to be repossessed. His job had been taken by a younger man. That younger man had come to see him to tell him he had to get out and all the minutes like that. And he offered... The young man offered, look, do you want to come out for a cup of tea, cup of coffee with me, that kind of thing, which is something he never did. In the last scene of Brrraaains 2, we see, basically, he didn't shoot himself. The gun fell, he cried, broke down and cried. The gun fell on the floor. The gunshot we heard was it ricochet blowing, and the game then ends. The Brrraaains story, it's not a third one, ends with that young man coming back in and them leaving to go. And there's basically a hope for him.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. So that's it. All of that is why Brrraaains, it is unbelievably satisfying.
That's how a film, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Particularly when you look at it, because it's such a basic graphical system and all
Yeah.
that. And the thing is, they're short games, and they're also very cheap, people. I should say that. Both very cheap. And they also got remade, so there's Brrraaains Deluxe Edition, which basically fixed some issues they had, because originally it was a mobile game. But I do urge people, you'll be stunned. Yeah, Brrraaains 2. But Brrraaains is the end, and I chose it purely because I thought it reflected the entire story I'd experienced. Yeah. I get emotional when I thought about it, because I just remember being like, like that,
Yeah,
you know?
it sounds
God, I love
really
indie games.
deep, really deep,
Some of the best games in the world are made by indie developers. Go on, right, I talked too long for that one.
So, Shenmue 2.
Yep.
I could have chosen any achievement, but I've chosen Autumn in Chai. And it is where the moment where you have to catch the leaves with your fingers. Yep. So this one is... Depends how good you win the game. It can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
It can take a lot, because it is an achievement. You're getting 3 in a goddamn row. I could have chose that one there. But it said, obviously I'm a big fan of Shenmue, but this one's annoying. You know, it's not like it's all about luck and doing it at the right time.
Yeah.
No vibration of the controller, and then you got the annoying, I can't even remember her name, but having a go every time you miss one. You know, but.
Not satisfying.
No,
then.
that's not satisfying. It's
just annoying.
I mean, all the achievements in Shenmue are straightforward anyway.
Yeah, there's
But
nothing imaginative there.
No,
is there?
it's a boring achievement.
Boring it is then. I hear ya. Okay. Elden Ring. Of course, Elden Ring, the massive open world Dark Souls game-esque thing, and it's the achievement Elden Ring. And it is, like all the Dark Souls games, obtained all achievements. So you get this after getting every other achievement and so on. And that's why it's simply that. It means you've done everything achievement-wise in Elden Ring. And it's super satisfying. It's also super hard, because of course it is Elden Ring. You're going to have to complete the game at least twice. You're going to have to do all the extra stuff, find the weapons, sorceries, all of this stuff. But you know Elden Ring won all those awards and had pretty much everybody saying it's the best game of last year.
Yep.
They're right! Skyrim used to hold a record for the game I'd spent the most time in, put the most hours in. Elden Ring now surpasses that. It is, I am going to put this one in, I'm going to satisfying, because it's satisfying more than anything else.
Yep.
It is hard, of course it is. It is a lot of fun, of course it is, but my God, is it satisfying. There it is.
Yeah, this is the same as me. This is either a lot of fun or satisfying. But,
Ooh, Bully, yeah, there's a lot of good ones in Bully.
Bully Scholarship Edition.
Yep.
And it's obviously the achievement perfection. 100% completion. Bully is an amazing game. So
love Bully, yeah.
I love the game. I would love another remastered version or something like that. I would love it.
I'd accept the remastering. If you're not going to ever make a second one, at least do a remastering of
I would
release.
absolutely love it. Fun or satisfying? I mean...
Can I put a caveat? I agree with you, but I'm
yeah.
going to throw a caveat as to what kind of takes it down just a notch from fun.
Yeah.
Collectibles,
yeah,
rubber bands.
Yep. There's a lot of
nonsense.
Videotapes and
It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary.
And the map is so difficult to
Yeah,
read.
it's not a good map either.
Yeah, so you might think it's in a building, but it's like on the edge. Yeah, so actually, I'm going to go as satisfying. Satisfying, yeah.
I actually 100% agree with that.
Yep.
I think the collectibles ruin the fun.
Yep.
Because when I think of fun and Bully, I think of the classes and I think about
yep.
stuff like that more than anything else. Okay, the game's Zombie, and that's with an I, not an E, with no E. It is the achievement Unstoppable, and it is finish game in survival mode. Now, if you played Zombie, it's not a great game, but it certainly is a clever, sort of interesting twist set in London. It's one of those games where you play as a character. If you die, that character is forever dead, and you'll get keep all your stuff, but then reset and have to start it again and all stuff like that. So that's cool. But then that's not how it's played. Only survival is that. If you die in survival, you stay dead. Whereas if you die in the main game part, you're fine, you carry on, that kind of thing from a checkpoint. But yeah, so survival is you die, you stay dead. The game's quite big, the game's quite long. And I generally played through, because none of the achievements stack. So you play for a few times before you get it. So I got really good at it. And it's not a long game if you know what you're doing. However, the zombies are a legit threat. You're a legit threat. You can't fuck with them. You've got to be careful. You can't dare get into a battle with too many. You don't have much in the way of weapons. You're mainly doing melee and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. Later on, it gets particularly difficult as new threats are introduced, including, and this is where the problem lies with survival for me, why I struggle the most with it. I probably tried this. Basically, what I would do is every so often I'd try it, fail, get fucked off of it, because the last achievement I need, leave it for 3 months, go back and try it again.
Yep.
Several times I got to like the last part of the game and died. Because in the last part of the game, they not only introduced mines, they also introduced zombies that have explosive tanks on the back. Guess what happens if you blow that up? You're instantly dead.
Yeah.
Instant death, no question. So I ended up learning, because there aren't many of them in the game, learning exactly where they were. Making sure I stood back, dealt with them from a distance. Bullshit. And of course, if that wasn't bad enough, the actual last section of that game is an arena with zombies coming in. How fun. And in a difficult game as well like that. Oh, you've got mines you can use. I'm putting them down. I'll blow myself up. You're fucking high.
Yep,
I eventually did it. I'm going to put this in hard as hell, man. Absolutely. I can't believe I struggled so much. I probably tried it about 50 times before I eventually did it. Yeah.
I'm surprised that you went to put the effort in because
it was only because I kept coming back to it. I kept trying like, over and over again. I'd have given up. But basically, I actually uninstalled it several times. And then I'd be like, okay, looking through my games, going, which games do I have like 1 or 2 achievements left to do? And then I'd come to Zombie and be like, it's been a while. Let me go back and try. Because it only would take me like 5, because the beginning of Zombie is very, very easy. So it doesn't take you long to get back into the vibe of it, Yeah.
So next one we got Goat Simulator.
Ugh,
and the achievement is the Flap Master. And it's to score 10 points in a row in Flappy Goat. I mean, whoever knows this game is such a ridiculous game.
Of course it is. It's Goat Simulator. It's designed, pure ridiculousness.
I mean, my kids love it. They find it funny. But this achievement drove me insane. You know, if you know,
It's a play on Flappy Bird, isn't it? Yeah.
Apart from the difficulty of trying to control a goat, they're standing in front of the TV, you'll get an awkward angle to even touch the button. My God. I mean, everyone knows that game. It's been banned now, the game, because obviously for reasons. But that game, a game in a game, ridiculous. You know, this game was ridiculous. It's kind of boring. It's crap. I hate the achievement. I did it, but I hate it.
I've got that one achievement in Goat Simulator. Didn't like it. This is a nostalgia one, really. It's not difficult or anything like that. It's Nights into Dreams. So it's Merry Christmas, Spring Valley, Christmas Cleared. So, of course, this was when Nights was re-released, given a HD treatment and added some achievements into it. Nights was not a game I played back in the day on the Saturn. It was Christmas Nights. It came free with a magazine. So I played the shit out of Christmas Nights. Eventually would play Nights. It's basically nostalgia for the Sega Saturn. I always had a lot of love when I think of Christmas games. Christmas Nights tends to jump into my mind, even though it's really just a level or two and a boss, two levels and a boss. So obviously it being included in Nights into Dreams and having an achievement attached to it was really, really cool. I wanted to include it for that reason.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to put it in just fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I've got Unraveled, and it's the red thread, and it's collect all achievements.
Yep.
This game is surprisingly it's a very deep game.
It is. Yeah.
The story is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was when I completed, I was shocked by actually how deep it was.
Yep.
You know, I had a lot of fun in this game. Yeah. My kids enjoyed this game, so I'm going to stick it in a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know of it. Never played it, but I know of its thing.
Second one sounds good.
Okay. All right. Dead Rising 2. So Dead Rising in the first, and I'm going to Dead Rising 2 in this one, and it is TK's favourite. Played and won in all 9 TIR events, a true American hero. Do you remember this achievement?
I haven't played number 2 yet. I think I might have played back in the 360 a long time ago. But...
It's like one with Chuck in the casino area.
Yeah. Okay,
so, of course, there's a game show in that called Terror is Reality, TIR. And in the Genius things, back when they were obsessed with multiplayer and everything, they added multiplayer to Dead Rising 2. You could go online and basically play against 3 other players. So 4 people are in a match, and these random TIR events, and obviously you get points, and then whoever would win overall. First off, nobody was playing this online. Yep. So to even start a game, it would not start unless you had 4 players. Wouldn't put AI in there, wouldn't start with 3 or 2, just wouldn't start. Trying to find 4 was a nightmare. This achievement is fucking bullshit, because not only do you have to, because it randomizes the TIR events too. There might only be 9, but they are randomized. And not only do you have to get them, you have to win them all. Win all 9. I've done this achievement twice. The first time I did it, it was not done legitimately. The second time, I actually did this legitimately. I actually managed to just keep playing it over and over again and get really good at it. I remember the last one I needed was the hamster ball one, where you're running over them, the zombies. And I remember it was really close between a guy, and I managed to do it. But...
When you say not legit, you mean a boosting?
Well, just mean playing with people, that kind of thing, you know. Yeah. I don't know if it was necessarily that. I don't know if it was necessarily that. Or it was just a group of people who messaged each other and saw all of that.
The phrase.
But yeah, basically, it's crap because of all of this. An online serving system, an online gameplay that nobody wanted, nobody asked for, and nobody was playing. That then has random events that you also need to win. All of them.
Yep.
Behave yourself, man. Yep. Crap.
So the next one is it's GoldenEye 007, but the remastered version.
Yep.
Is it? Yep. And the achievement is Bond James Bond, which is completing the game on the hardest difficulty 00 agent on all levels. Mm-hmm. This one here, I'm a little bit unsure where to put, to be honest.
Yeah, because I have a thing about this.
Because I remember as a kid, this was so difficult.
Yeah.
It was really difficult, but I flew for this.
Yeah.
Easy. So I don't know if the game's easier or I'm just better at the game.
Yeah, it could be a combination of both, isn't it?
I mean, a lot of fun.
Big clue.
Nostalgia.
I'm going to give everybody a big clue as to where you might find it easier. Controls.
That helps too.
Big difference between the Nintendo 64 controller and the modern day PlayStation Xbox controllers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. Not really, because it was so easy. Satisfying. Again, not really, because I don't know, it's hard. I've got to go satisfying because I can't put on boring and crap because I do enjoy the game.
Could you not put in a lot of fun? Because ultimately, it is still completing GoldenEye. It's still a lot of fun to play.
Oh, yeah.
And just because it not being impossibly hard, just makes it more fun.
I mean, I did enjoy it. I must admit, I did. Yeah, I'll stick on a lot of fun because I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it belongs there. I think it's a lot of fun to kind of do all of that. Sleeping Dogs. The achievement is Chief Inspector, and it is complete 100% of all missions. cases, favours, events, jobs, and races. So basically every single thing you can do in Sleeping Dogs. Look, it is no secret, I hope, that Sleeping Dogs is my favourite of those third-person Grand Theft Auto style clones. That style. I think I love it. I played it when it was re-released again. Done everything again in it twice. I find it so satisfying. It's a great location. It's a great story, great characters, and it's a lot of fun to play. So, you know, doing an achievement related to just doing everything in the game. I love it. Absolutely. There is a version called Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. It's, you know, it's when it goes on sale, it's like $2.99, and it has all the DLC, and it is brilliant because what it does is it's basically set in like Hong Kong. So it uses kung fu fighting, as well as like police. You're an undercover police officer and stuff like that. But it is a fucking brilliant game, man. I love Sleeping Dogs.
A Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Third person, running around getting cars, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're undercover, so that's where you're able to do criminal activities.
Yeah.
But it's also got like, because it's you know, it's not Western world stuff. So there's lots of mini games such as karaoke. And basically, think Yakuza, but earlier, that kind of thing, you know, and less wacky. This is a lot of fun for me. It's not hard because normally it's just collecting stuff. There's collectibles, of course, and things like that, but I do really enjoy it.
Okay. So we spoke about collectibles at the start of this, but Batman Arkham Asylum, and it's the achievement Crack the Enigma, and it's to solve every riddle.
Yeah.
I actually quite enjoyed this. And the reason why I quite enjoyed it is for me personally, is because I obviously had a year's break from this game because of my past history with that shock and all. But I actually quite enjoyed this achievement because I quite like the riddles.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't enjoy having to define them all because it was quite annoying with finding all the teeth, and obviously there's like 160 odd. And I think the first time around I did it, I actually had a glitch where like 2 didn't pop, so I had to go back around and do it all again. So I think the second time around I was pissed off by then. But I'm going to put it in satisfying, I think, because it was one of those ones which were I was really, really pleased when it popped.
I get that. I get satisfying. I mean, it's hard for me to really comment too much on this. I'm a bit more forgiving with Asylum. But if you'd said City, I'd have been like, get in the bin. That shit can get in the bin.
I haven't done City yet, but
have fun with that.
Yeah.
Love City. Love it. Better game than Asylum. Really is a great game. Absolutely wonderful world exploration and stuff like that. But when it comes to collectibles, fuck that game. Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse. And the achievement is Order of the Goat. And you simply have to outwit the goat. This is here because of, when they announced Broken Sword 5 was coming out, but it was also going back to the traditional Broken Sword games, 2D. So obviously 1 and 2 are 2D, 3 and 4 are 3D, and with 5 they went back to a traditional thing. I, like everybody, went, cool, excited to see where they go. I love that game. I don't love it as much as I do 1 and 2, but I still love number 5. Like for me, it's Broken Sword 2, Broken Sword 1, Broken Sword 5. Like it's that high. It's up amongst them. Love it, absolutely do. It's on Xbox, by the way. You know you can play that.
Is it?
Of course it is.
What? 2?
No. Broken Sword 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Broken Sword 5.
I'll have a look at that.
The remasterings of Broken Sword 1 and 2 are mobile. Fuck knows whatever released them on consoles. But yeah, 5 is definitely there, and I love 5. It's got some of my favourite scenes in it. But it's also fun to have a lot of callbacks and things like that, including, of course, George's mortal enemy, a fucking goat. So there's a goat-related achievement in this. That's why I wanted to put it in there. Satisfying. Satisfying? A lot of fun? Yeah, satisfying. Satisfying because, hey, it's a goat. And George has had problems with goats throughout his entire life. Yes.
Yep, indeed, yeah. So I've gone for Spyro 1, obviously the Reignited collection version, and it's the achievement of the Hoarder, and it's collecting all the achievements in Ganassi's loot.
Yep.
This could go and a lot of fun and satisfying for me, but for me it's satisfying. I think, you know, everyone loves right at the end where you pop all the fireworks and all the 25 gems are flying everywhere. You run around collecting all. It's satisfying, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one. When I looked at that and I was getting a picture for it, I presumed that was about completing, like getting all the gems and all that.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be like, no, but in the whole game.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that's good then, because that's a good kind of thing. And I think it's cool because it's like something we did a lot on the PlayStation 1.
Many times, yeah.
So to do it again in the Xbox was cool. So when I saw this as just being the one for Ganasti's sort of loot, I was like, oh, is that it? But then I kind of think like to get to that stage, you have to arguably done all that. So yeah, it is satisfying. Level sucks though.
Yeah,
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. Well, but it's not one that's aged well. You're like, for me to fly a bit higher, I just need to,
open the door.
Yeah. Dust and Elysian Tale. And the achievement is, and the dust settles, in brackets it is, defeat General Gaius. That is the end boss of Dust and Elysian Tale. I'm not going to delve into spoilers here, but it's no secret. You'll have hopefully heard me and Liam talk about this because it's a game we both equally love. This is one of the best games ever made that not enough people played. It was on the Xbox 360. They one day, hopefully, will re-release it. They certainly will never do a sequel. It doesn't need a sequel. It's a one-time only thing. But it is my favourite example of a redemption story in video game form. I love a good redemption story. A character that was bad once before and then across a period of time will redeem himself in a way. And Dust and Elysian Tale is that. It is, once again, cartoony, colourful, animation. But my God, does that story absolutely hammer you. And I'm not going to spoil it. I would urge you to play this game. It is ending, defeating General Gaius, and what happens after those events still makes me sad today. And it's got an amazing soundtrack. So amazing that I own it over there on vinyl. Bought it directly from the creators, the people who actually made the music, the Hyperducks.
Oh, wow.
And they even sent a little note saying thank you and stuff like that. Yeah, so that. Defeat General Gaius, that's the end of the story. That, to me, is a perfect achievement there.
Yeah.
It is satisfying. It is another for satisfying, I'm afraid. Yeah, because it's not necessarily fun, because, good God, if you don't cry at that ending of Dust, credit to you. You're a harder person than I am.
So I've gone again for it's Crash the remastered one, and it's Crash the first one. So, specifically, I've gone for the ultimate gem path, which is to earn 26 gems.
Yeah.
So this one's going in difficult as hell.
Yeah, hard as hell.
Hard as hell. And the reason why I'm going to go in hard as hell, because in this version of the remastered one, they've added in the Stormy Ascent levels, which were never in the original playthrough. And my God, that level drove me absolute mad. I must have died 100 times doing that level. And with the first one, it's not like the original Crash 2 or 3 where the boxes carry over. You got to get all the boxes in one playthrough without dying.
Yeah.
My God, that drove me insane.
Yeah, it's famous, isn't it?
Yep.
It is, absolutely.
I also added a little note to the high road levels too, with this stupid little bridge and you got to fall down. My God.
Okay, well, I'm going to switch it up and go for something I just think's fun. And it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and it's Conquering Time, and you beat the game in under an hour. That's it. Play Sonic 2, a game you played 100 times, maybe more than that in your life. And here they go. Right, cool. We know you've done that. We know you've been playing this all your life, and we wanted to be a little bit imaginative with the achievement, so we're going to put a time limit on it. How fast can you go? Love that. That's what I want. Think outside the box. It's not that clever. It's like amazingly clever stuff. But it's like, okay, this is different. How fast can I do this? I've never really had to think about playing Sonic 2 with a time limit.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a lot of fun. I found that a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely, my last one is, again, Crash 1, and it's going in difficult as hell, because it is basically the exact same as the gems, but it's the relics. So it's practice makes perfect. You have to earn 26 relics, gold or better. And again, pretty much the exact same as the gem one, Stormy Ascent and the high road. Under pressure this time with a time limit. With the boxes, you can take your time. This one, you have a time limit.
They're both in it.
Drive me insane.
Both in it. And last but not least on my end, Tomb Raider Anniversary. And it's hard game. Complete the game on hard difficulty. Includes easy and medium game achievement. I even put that in the achievement description. So this is only here because this Tomb Raider Anniversary, do you know what Tomb Raider Anniversary is?
Yeah.
It is the re-release of the original game. That was the first time I ever actually completed Tomb Raider. I'd never played the original game fully through.
The demo, I think it is.
Yeah, it was just a demo I played. That's it. So, like, this was my first proper experience of a game that everybody said, and I really enjoyed it. So, it's simply that. And then to play it on the hardest difficulty and learn to be good at it, I found it to be quite a satisfying, really enjoyable experience. Am I going to put it satisfying? Because I always want to put in a lot of fun. Because I had a lot of fun doing it.
That's why I played it since the demo to Tomb Raider. No, I don't have.
Well, Tomb Raider Anniversary, it's an Xbox 360 game. And it's just a remake of the original game. And I just I'm going to put a lot of fun because it kind of started an interest I had in those old Tomb Raider games. And I went back and played a few more. But it was just like, I'd never played it to the end. So it was like, oh, amazing. I'm going to put a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there we go. That is 30 more achievements. Only 5 ended up in hard as hell. We got Left 4 Dead, 2 Crash Bandicoots for you. Left 4 Dead. We got Shadow Man. And what's the other one there that I put in? Oh, and Zombie. So 2 from me and 3 from you, but 2 from the same game. Well, is it less boring, less crap this time around?
Yeah.
A lot of satisfying, a lot of fun.
Yeah, indeed.
What do you reckon? You got any thoughts? Have you earned these achievements, and do you think they belong in different areas? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.